Hi, and welcome to this demo of QURii, a platform for secure enterprise-grade agent orchestration and governance. I'm Russ James, the Chief Architect at Coreonyx, and today I'll show you how QURii agents read from the enterprise systems you already run, use your tools, execute sandboxed code, pause for human decisions, and then continue after those decisions are captured, all while running as a durable federated identity. And because they use a federated identity, QURii's agents operate inside the controls your enterprise already depends on. That's what makes our agents secure and compliant, two key requirements for deploying into real enterprise environments. Today's demo follows a contracting officer with this urgent requirement. A program office needs a cleared cybersecurity assessor surge on a FedRAMP relevant system inside a fixed mission window. The CO has to assemble evidence, weigh vehicle and vendor fit, and keep the contract file defensible without losing days to manual hops across systems. QURii agents assemble the evidence across systems, run bounded analysis, pause for a human contracting decision, and draft a recommendation using procurement language, capturing an audit record of every step along the way. So, 90-day surge scope, clearance and FedRAMP context, ICGE-backed dollars, competing vehicle histories, and vendors who qualify on paper but differ on recency and fit. In a normal workflow, that means reading the PM memo, statement of work, IGCE, and market research notes, then checking vehicle history, vendor capabilities, availability, and risk in separate systems. The information exists. The hard part is turning it into a timely, auditable decision package. Let's jump in and see how QURii agents tackle this. Overnight, QURii ran a scheduled agent that scanned and analyzed my incoming recs. It left this concise morning brief waiting for us in Teams. We did not have to hunt for new work. QURii kicked off the workflow itself and brought the work to us. In the brief, QURii gives me a high-level overview of the urgent Rec 2025-0901 and a direct triage action that starts a separate agent, the CO requirement triage agent. Once I kick it off, we will follow the work in two places at once, the human-facing side here in Teams and the system of record side in QURii's audit view, which streams events live as the agent runs. That audit view is the same record a reviewer would open after the fact. So you are watching the audit trail being written in real time, not a replay. So I'll click the triage agent. The agent begins from that handoff by reading the requirement package from QURii's document index. It's not browsing the whole corpus of documents. It's using a narrow retrieval query around Rec 2025-0901 to pull the PM memo, draft statement of work, IGCE, and market research notes. In the audit view, we see that document read landing. Every step we're about to see will show up here as its own row the moment it happens. From the retrieved requirement document, the agent is extracting the requirement type, NAICS code and PSC, period of performance, clearance requirements, FedRAMP context, estimated value, and must-have capabilities. Now, QURii checks vendor and vehicle context. For this demo, the inventory is staged in Salesforce. In your environment, that could be Prism, ConIT, an IDIQ tracker, could be a spreadsheet, a data warehouse, or even a flat file feed. The integration pattern is the same. QURii can work through whatever surface the enterprise exposes. And there it is in the log. That lookup lands as a Salesforce query entry right after the document read. The agent is retrieving the NAICS 541512 records from Salesforce and reading the vehicle labels from the associated history around GSA mass and OTA contracts. For this acquisition triage, the agent has to match candidate vendors and vehicles to the current requirement, checking comparable history and creating a shortlist with defensible rationale. One of the ways it does this is by computing a weighted fit score for each potential vendor. The score considers mission fit, vehicle availability, past performance, recency and value, price reasonableness from the IGCE, security and compliance fit, and risk. Some parts of acquisition strategy are judgment. Some parts are retrieval. Some parts are math. For this calculation, the agent uses Python, securely sandboxed and auditable, to compute the weighted fit. QURii's agents pick the right execution mode for the job, while the framework applies the guardrails, ties the security context to a federated identity, bounds execution, and tracks each step of the audit surface. Now the agent has enough context to recommend a path forward, a vehicle option, a qualified shortlist, assumptions, risks, and gaps. It does not make the contracting decision. It hands the package to a supervisory CO. Watch both surfaces move together. The request appears as an approval card here in Teams and at the same moment as an approval requested entry in the audit log. This is the human in the loop, the line of business decision, the contracting choice itself. The options are approve vehicle, revise strategy, or hold. The agent prepared the recommendation, but the supervisory CO owns the decision. That distinction is not cosmetic. It is the difference between useful decision support and an indefensible automation claim. For this run, I'm choosing approve vehicle. When I click, the platform resolves the identity of the approver, checks that the approval is valid for this run, records the decision, and resumes the workflow. Let's check the entry in the log. Captured the decision itself and who made it. Only now, after the human approval, does the agent act on the contracting decision. It creates a new opportunity record in Salesforce, representing the selected acquisition strategy record. Quick aside, the agent wants to email me the completed package. Watch what happens before any notification leaves the organization. Sending mail crosses an external trust boundary, so a policy guardrail, not the agent and not me, interrupts and asks for a separate approval. This is a different kind of approval from the one you just saw. The first was a line of business decision. Which vehicle? This is a control decision. May this workflow send mail outside the org? Different question, different authority, and both are on the record. The policy enforcement guardrail module is at the center of QURii's orchestration platform. In this case, an egress control policy is being enforced, but your own deterministic policies live here and get applied as agent orchestration traffic passes through this vital hub that sits between users, LLMs, tools, and code. Approve it, and the send itself shows up in the log right here. The notification leaving the org, captured as its own entry. I also want to show you the downstream systems, not just the agent transcript. Here is Salesforce with the newly created opportunity. This is the approved acquisition strategy record that the agent created after supervisory approval. And here is the email with a PDF of the decision package. Again, the agent did not award the contract. Only after human approval did it create a staged action package record and notification. Authority stayed with the contracting officer. QURii handled assembly, analysis, routing, and record keeping. The user ROI is immediate. CO no longer acting as the integration layer across memo, statement of work, estimate, and market research. QURii prepares the package so the human can evaluate the decision, not spend the first hour assembling it. For the CO, the value is practical. Faster intake, cleaner evidence, fewer manual system hops, and the better prepared supervisory review. For the organization, the value is consistency, lower audit burden, and a repeatable acquisition triage pattern. This is the operating workflow, and notice what we did not have to do, stop and assemble a record at the end. The audit view you watched, filled in live step by step, is the record. Every action attributed to the identity it ran as, in order, under audit, and nothing reconstructed after the fact. This is the contract file trail a reviewer can defend. One last layer, the execution layer. This same run is a durable instrumented workflow. Every tool call is its own measured span across a real service boundary. This is production-grade orchestration, not an app narrating a single model call. The procurement takeaway is that QURii can reduce cycle time without pretending procurement rules disappeared. It helps the CO get from fragmented intake to a defensible action package, while preserving the human checkpoint in the record. The enterprise takeaway is broader. This is just one acquisition workflow. The same pattern, governed orchestration across documents, legacy or SaaS systems, sandbox computation, messaging, approval, and audit, can support other high-value operational decisions. In closing, we just saw two agents, one scheduled and one invoked by a CO, team up to triage an urgent requirement and make a recommendation using multi-source case assembly, vendor and vehicle context, and transparent scoring. Supervisory approval was captured and an approved Salesforce write-back and notification were performed. All that with an identity-centered audit trail capturing every step. Thank you.